great. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Uh,
So, where are you right now?
I am now in Bodrum in Turkey. I don't know whether you can see. There's the view from my. Do you? Can you see the view from my balcony?
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Nice. Yeah. It's like you wake up every morning and you see the yachts and sea and feels like a dream life
And you're there until the end of the month?
till the end of October.
Awesome. What's the dancing like there? Are you dancing?
No, actually, I'm here mostly for work. The entire hotel is calling me now dance teacher because I first of all I was not almost even didn't eat. Sometimes I was just clipping my videos and doing my courses, and then I was having this online Zoom calls in a lobby because there is Wi-Fi, and everybody would see me dancing. And now entire staff of the hotel is like, "Hey, dance teacher, hi, hi." It's very funny.
Good one. So you're there for work, and then afterwards you're traveling again for work, or you're traveling for dance?
I'm traveling for the things I cannot tell. And I was like for personal reasons, but yeah. Then like I'll be somewhere, and then I go to Warsaw for dance,
Nice.
and then I'm thinking where to go else because I really think to go maybe to a couple more events, and then to go to Bali to spend winter there because I hate cold and I want to finally spend winter in warm place.
Yep, that's a fair call. Why are you going to El Sol? You mean El Sol in Poland? Is that the festival you're talking about?
Yeah.
So why?
Like just like a sweet tradition, I just like this huge. I know that it's like it doesn't have this vibe like all the like top social dancers in my circle they love, like cozy like thing. But for me, it's like a traditional, like if I was a person who just started to do salsa and I would come to this Congress, I would be so astonished and I would fall in love. And it's like, I think this is kind of event that maintains the tradition, and I respect that. That's why I'm there.
Cool. So that's probably not a bad segue into some of the things that I want to talk to you about. So because you're based in Europe, there are events every weekend. You can go to a festival or two festivals per weekend. So how do you decide what festivals to go to and why?
No, actually, I'm not based in Europe. I was just, let's say I just started to become based in Europe like a week ago when I left Russia. Before that, I was always based in Russia, and especially the last 2 years, I couldn't choose much because of the COVID and of everything. And then when they started to close the borders, to cancel the flights because of these political reasons. And it was really like, I could only go when I could, like if I could escape through Finland and to go like somewhere, then I would do this. But now, to be honest, I have no idea. I think I would be like just going where most of my friends are going. Because, for example, like Porto weekend, like everybody was posting photos from Porto, and I really felt like, damn, I just want to buy the flights and go there. I think so. Like trust my friends' choice.
And that's enough for you. So even if you've never been to the event before, you don't know who's doing, like you don't know the country that it's in. If you have like your core group of people, then it doesn't matter.
Of course, not at all.
That's pretty cool. How many people in your core group?
I think around 15, 20 maybe.
15 people.
I don't know.
Followers and leaders?
Yeah, both.
Right. Because you lead and follow, right?
Yes, both.
Okay. Do you have a preference?
I'm following, of course. I feel very awkward when I lead. It's like I like to do it when I teach because I like to feel, like to understand how does it work, and things like this, and feel from lead's perspective how do girls feel when they follow and stuff like this. But at the party, I'm like, no, I want to be a girl, like flirt with guys and what I'm made for.
Okay, cool. So why did you start learning to lead?
Because I was teaching. It was just, like every time when you teach, you assist, and when it's not enough guys, and of course you start leading, and it was just started. I just started. It started a long time ago when I was like 18 years old or something like this.
Right.
I started to learn leading.
So do you feel like it's the responsibility of teachers to learn both roles if they're a teacher?
I think if you teach partner work, it is really necessary to at least a little lead and like to experience both roles, because you need to understand both perspectives. How does it feel when you do this? How does it feel when you do that? I think it's important, yes.
I find that from my own experience, learning to follow helped me become a better leader.
Yeah, of course.
Do you feel like, because you're primarily a follower, do you feel like learning to lead helped you become a better follower?
Of course, because like I'll tell you a story. 2 days ago, I was like going to the beach, just just like that, without my phone, without anything. Just took a towel, went to the beach, and in the morning, it was Sunday morning, and then I was about to go home. I jumped in the water. I was about to go home, and I was walking by, and it was a rueda, huge rueda. And I was like, damn, I always find these places, like out of, like in the middle of Turkey, they're dancing, it's huge already, like 20 couples. And of course I grabbed the girl and I was like, okay, I join you guys. And it was so incredible. I was like dancing with all the girls, and there was one that was super light, super light. I don't know where, like, they all were like so level. And she was as well, but she was super light. And I was always telling her, like, yeah, it was super light. And she's like, everybody tells me, but I don't understand, And then I would go to another girl and I would feel immediately how she grabs me with her biceps, yeah? And another girl, like, she's locking the frame like hell. Another girl, she's grabbing my fingers. And another girl, she's like not stepping, like, and I, like, literally feel everything. And of course, as a guy, you feel like you have for sure 100% your choice, like, okay, this no, this no, this no, this no, this yes. And I think it's very helpful, of course.
Okay. So as a teacher who teaches followers, but like obviously you teach a lot of things. You teach like your musicality marathons, and you're teaching like spinning technique. You're teaching a lot of different things. How do you teach followers to not do those things? How do you teach followers to be light?
It's actually very tricky to do online. I will just start doing it because I just launched my mentorship program. And there is a blog about leading and following full of nice exercises. But to be honest, I just only pray, because every time when I used to teach it, I couldn't do it without touching the body and like letting the girls feel how does it feel to like give your arm relaxed, so your shoulder blade is fixed, like have your back straight, and like how does it feel when you follow with your chest muscles, or when you follow with your biceps, or when you follow with your back? How does it feel when you're connected, like your wrist is connected to your oblique, yeah, or not connected? I know how to do it when I see the person. I know the exercises, I know what to do, like when to pull and how. When I do it online, I have no idea. We're gonna check. I will tell you in 2 months.
Yeah, obviously it's tricky to do it online, but if you're in person with people, like you taught workshops at Berlin Salsa Congress recently, so obviously the workshops weren't about leading and following techniques, but if you had to teach it in person, like how do you show followers how it feels, or leaders?
I have a perfect exercise, is like a magic exercise about leading and following. Is super demanding, but I believe that if you can do this, then you know for sure how does it feel. It's pretty easy. Followers or leaders, I mean, for me, it's the same way. How does your body work? You stand like this, you give your arm forward, and another person just act like suddenly grabs your wrist and has to pull you forward, like with a big step. So a person grabs the wrist and makes a big step back, like pulls you unexpectedly forward. And the way, what matters is that how does your body react? Because most of the people will react like this. Yeah, they're gonna first give the shoulder forward and then start falling with the upper body and then only step. But very good followers, they would react the opposite way. When they being pulled, they're gonna give the shoulder blade back, like move it like this, and then make a big step with the legs. So if unexperienced dancers, we're gonna fall like this. At the same time, experienced dancers will go like this with the legs. So this is, I think, like the most obvious exercise, Just ask somebody to pull you and see how you react.
So you're checking to see if their body's connected, like each group of muscles and bones is connected, so that when there's stimulus applied, everything moves together, not compartmentalized.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And do you feel like you get good results with stuff like that?
Ask my girls, definitely, yeah.
If I meet them, I will.
Yeah, my girls were known as the lightest followers in Russia.
Wow.
I mean, not the lightest, like, of course, all the lightest girls are in Rostov and Don, but my girls are like, nobody can compete with Rostov and Don, but apart of that, yes.
Why do you think that is? What's happening in Rostov and Don that's different to everywhere else?
I think it's just Marina. You know Marina?
I don't think I know her, no.
So Marina Vanushina is like top teacher, on top on two teacher in Russia at all, of all times. She's like elder woman, she, I think around 50 or something. Super tiny, super small, and she's like super light and like one of the like top follower, for sure, like one of the top followers in Russia. And I have no idea, you know. I think she's just super talented teacher because, for example, our teaching perspectives are completely different. As you notice already, I like it to analyze deeply, like the movement, like which muscles do you need to tense, which muscles do you need to relax. I cannot just say, hold your frame, because I believe that people can't understand, like, how do I exactly hold my frame, you know? So I like to dig into details. And when we invite Marina to my school, to St. Petersburg, to teach, I noticed that she does this thing, like, okay, keep your weight over the balls of your feet, hold your frame, be light, you know? And I'm like, it's not supposed to work, you know? But all her girls are light and all her guys are amazing. So I think it's just the drilling part. So she's like very demanding teacher, like a trainer, like a sports trainer, you know? Like
Right.
super demanding, super strict. And like she's like a lot of repetition, we repeat, we work, and she motivates people to work, to feel. And I think this is the stuff that works.
Great. Huh. So when you're dancing, when you're how like what for you is makes a dance really good from a connection perspective?
What for me makes the dance very good? I think interesting. Like half a year ago, I would have clear answer. I think, and now I just hesitate. So I think very good partner has to be balanced
Mm-hmm.
in order to have very light leading, light and precise leading, because I feel it. And I mean, as a teacher, I know, I feel these things instantly, you know, like when a person is falling and that losing balance influences the leading somehow. It becomes a little bit more heavy or not so precise or something like this. So I like when leaders are super balanced and therefore their leading is super light and precise. And a part of that, I think, to be honest, I don't remember guys who are like this, but they don't have another part like paying attention to the girl. So I only remember the guys when they're like this, they always pay a lot of attention to the girl. So it's like, as a girl, you get this feeling of that somebody is caring about you, like somebody is like paying attention to you, paying attention that you feel comfortable, that you like are happy or whatsoever. And of course, also like expressing the way how they feel the music. It's for me also very important. Did I answer your question?
I think so. Yeah. So eye contact is important for you, or them being conscious of you during the dance?
I think eye contact is important. Yeah, eye contact for me is like a test. You know, I like very. You maybe have noticed.
Yeah.
Like very deep eye contact, because I noticed that not many men can actually cope with it. You know, like many of them start to be shy, like put their eyes and.
I feel incredibly vulnerable if there's like really intense eye contact with them.
Like why? Tell me.
I think naturally I think I have two hats for lack of a better way of explaining it. When I'm teaching and out in public and with friends, I'm a bit more extroverted and I'm laughing and making jokes and being like that. But when I'm on my own or with like a couple of friends, I'm a bit more introverted. And I feel I probably lean more towards a shy side, or I feel more shy on my own. And then to look someone that you know or don't know like deeply into their eyes, I feel really vulnerable. I don't know how else to explain it. So I'm not I'm not one. If I work on it and I sort of let my if I get out of my head a little bit more, then I can feel more comfortable looking at someone in the eyes. And I know we had a conversation about it in Berlin, and then after the conversation about it, I tried to do it a little bit more, and I actually, like, I'm okay with it after that. But initially, yeah, I feel really uncomfortable doing it, and I don't want it to be perceived the wrong way. If I look at
If I be perceived like you're whatever.
yeah, I don't want a follower to feel like I'm like, you know, on their case or something. So I'm not sure if that's out of etiquette or politeness. Yeah, I think, like, we definitely teach it in classes, right? We say don't stare at someone, but don't ignore someone. So finding that balance in between the two. Yeah, it's definitely something I can work on for sure. Getting better at eye contact.
Yeah, it's very interesting. For me, I get so much information from that. You know? First of all, I start, if I like the guy, you can always see me looking at him like with much interest, like who you are. I started him, but it's like it's not like, hey, like aggressive starting, you know, it's like more like, hey, who the hell you are? You know, you're interesting. And this is what you can see in my eyes. And then if he responds, I can see, like, it's like another level of talking, you know, like we're talking with the arms, but we're also talking with the eye contact.
Yeah, I will say that I did feel more comfortable making more, like, longer eye contact with you when we were at Berlin Salsa Congress. So we first met at the marathon in Berlin a few weeks before, and then we danced again at the Congress. And exactly like you said, you have like an interested look on your face, and you're almost asking, like, where are you going to take us now? What's going to happen now?
Yes, and this is what I feel.
Yeah, so that's how I.
Your perspective, may I ask, does it feel good when I look like this? How do you feel?
After I got to know you and I met you, I was comfortable with this look. Yes, I liked it.
And what?
I think I wasn't making enough eye contact to pay attention to the look before the dancing. I didn't feel it. It was a positive thing. I didn't feel from you like an expectation, like, what are you going to do now? It was more a curious thing. Like, I felt that you're enjoying what we've done so far, and you were curious to see where it would go next, what would happen next. And I think we danced 2 or 3 in a row one night, and for me it was really nice.
Likewise, yeah.
The look thing for me, I liked it. When I feel more comfortable, once I've gotten to know someone a bit better, then I'm more comfortable with the eye contact. But initially, I'm like a child who's been taken to school for the first day. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I saw it sometimes. You're like really sometimes shy.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. For me, it's like very intense thing, you know. Like I can actually recall many guys with whom I could really have this intense eye contact. And one of those was my ex-boyfriend. This is actually how all the things started, because, as I said, it's like kind of my test, you know? Like, I look deeply in the guy's eyes and I check how does he react. And when he's like answering me like, hello, okay, you want to play this game, you know? Like, I'm like, interesting, let us do it. And of course, it builds up this another level of attraction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, one of my personal tests.
Do you feel like when you have that connection with someone that you're dancing with, how complicated the dancing is less important? If you can have a more intense contact or connection with someone, just in how you connect with each other and how you look at each other, how, like, you don't have to do complicated stuff with your dancing, do you feel?
Not at all. Not at all. I really totally relate to what you said. Like, guys are looking after, like, doing this for tons of, you know, routines, and they think that they want to impress the girl. But after all, no, I'm like more impressed by the guys, you know, who like having this masculine energy. Like, they just take you to the close position, and they just like treat you like a woman. Like, hello, I'm a man and you're a woman, let's dance. And you're like, yes, let's dance. Because I've had enough of this. I can come to Super Mario and he gonna kill me, you know, with his patterns. Like, and after half night, you feel so dead. Also, you appreciate more this kind of calm, nice dance, but with this amazing interaction like men and women. So I definitely relate to that. Like not much patterns, not many patterns, but nice like energy, like caring, I think is the word. Yeah. Energy from the men.
So even though when you get to a certain stage in your dancing, you're focusing more on the connection, the quality of the leading and the following at a lower level of difficulty, but you're concentrating on how good that feels, those basic movements, fundamental movements. But that doesn't mean that you can't dance really complicated at some stage, but you have to pick your moment for those complicated patterns.
Yes, I think so. I think it.
You don't want to do the whole dance like that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I think it's just, you know, it also explain, like, gives you much information about, like, dancers on certain stage, I believe they have to choose their way, you know, like, what do they like more? Do they like more musicality or do they like more, like, tricks? Like, for example, Samuel, yeah? He does a lot of these tricks, like, having fun with the girls. Or, like, Terry does a lot of complicated, just crazy patterns, yeah? And, like, you need to choose your stuff or, like, crazy connection. Like, guys like Jared, for example. They just don't do any basic things, you know? Like, you, as a girl, you don't do even, like, crossbody, but you dance salsa at the same time, and you, like, it's just crazy. So you choose your path, the way which you like the most, and within this path you develop. This is at least how I see guys are doing. Yeah, at some level, everybody goes with patterns first, and then they decide, okay, I want to go here, there, something like this.
What's it like for followers? That's a good example for leaders, because I think that leaders need to be able to at least get to a point where they can lead some complicated things to improve their leading and their timing and their musicality, and then they tend to take it down a level and dance more like we're talking about, more connected, less complicated stuff. But what's it like for followers? When do followers realize, I don't really enjoy dancing all this complicated stuff all the time?
It's a very good question. I never thought about it, actually.
What was it like for you? When did you realize, you know what, I don't want to dance all night?
I think only when I realized that I can do this. Like, there was definitely a stage for me when I loved it. I wanted to, like, look for the most complicated guys, like, in a way, like, he does complicated routines. Because I love this feeling, how quickly my body can react, how I can respond on leading without even noticing it, you know, like this kind of reflexes in my body that are there. And I really enjoy them. Like, I enjoy the speed, I enjoy my control, I enjoy the feeling like, okay, I can do everything, you know. I think that also, like, girls need it.
Yeah.
In order to become like a really, really amazing dancer, you need to pass this stage when you realize that you really can follow everything, whatever happens. You feel balanced, you feel like you can react, you feel quick enough, and then, yeah, you realize, okay, like I've danced, I come to a festival, I've danced with, I don't know, 50 guys, and I followed everything. There was nothing surprising, and then you feel like, yeah, okay, something else. Can you surprise me with something else, please? I think that's the point.
When you get to that stage, and then because you're not as challenged by the complicated patterns anymore, then you're looking in a different avenue to be stimulated, whether it's becoming or more musical or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I think so. You know what I'm also thinking? Like, you're asking very interesting questions. The patterns, these are like mechanical things after all, yeah? So every person can take and learn the patterns, and you can reach, of course, a certain level, but it's like more mechanical. But that's why it has its ceiling, let's say. But when you are close to that, you're looking for something which doesn't have an end. And I think this is something humanic. This is why, like, very good social dancers, I think they're a lot about human connection, because humanic doesn't have an end. You always can meet another person which gives you another emotions, you know, like another condition or something like this. Yep. Or like musicality as well, I think. Like guys creating new songs, you know, and it's like always growing, always developing, doesn't have an end. But routines, they have, I think, you know, like in a way.
To a point, yeah. So it's really interesting because you can have you can have an amazing dance with a follower, a leader, and a song, because the song might resonate with both people. But then you could have the same two people and a different type of song, and it might not work for that combination because the music's not working for the two dancers, right?
Yeah, I feel the same.
So do you feel like we should be dancing more than one song with people when we go social dancing to allow the connection a proper chance?
And you mean it's like when I hear a specific song, I run to the guy with whom I know it's the best or something? This is what you mean?
That happens, right? I was talking about this with some friends, and people have, like, for example, I have with one person a song, and when this song comes on, you're my person to dance with. And then with another person, I have another song. So because there's like these, I don't know what they are, like a magic song, when it comes on, you can see everyone like this
Yeah.
running like through the social, like, to get their person, and then they connect, and then like you forget about the whole world. All that you have is just your connection with one person. But like, because the way you connect with someone and the way you connect with a song, where it's like magical for all three connections, that's really rare. So maybe that's why people like obsess over that one person. But do you think we should be more conscious that we didn't have a good song together? We should try a different song, like, or maybe try two songs or more to try and space where we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I think so. I like it. I like it when it happens naturally. Like we had it in Berlin. We danced. I think it was the situation when it was like song was so, and we're like, shall we do another one? Or like sometimes what I like more is that when you realize that you get this thing, you know, like this connection between you two, and you wanna you wanna develop it. And yeah, at some point you realize that the next song comes and you still will be dancing with each other, right? You had this. You said that you had this with Nissan.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, for sure. I had it with Nissam in London. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's true. It's like you reach a level of understanding with someone, and then you want to going with it. Like, how far can we take it?
Yes, exactly. What I love the most is that it sometimes it's a little bit destiny thing, you know? Like I believe that sometimes it just all the circumstances match, you know, like somebody was inviting you, you didn't want this guy to invite you, but you came there for the dance, but then you saw that another guy you want to dance with is dancing close by, you know, and this like, I believe that at congresses, many of those things happen. And sometimes it was, I remember I had this kind of chain of dances with Lefteris in Prague. It was like, I just got to know him. He invited me. He was like a guy out of the blue. I was like, who you are, you know? And like, we had a dance and I was like, interesting. And then we were like, I think we had maybe two. And then it was like, okay. And then we got again in the middle of the night and we were just dancing one song and then another song. It was good. It was good. It was good. But then it was like, they played this song. Which was this? I don't remember this guitar song. Like Rosa, something, I don't remember. Wild Rose, I think it's called.
Right.
And it was like that was the perfect match which you're talking about, like the people and then the song. It fits so perfectly to the ambience, to the atmosphere, and then you have a blast, you know. So it's like I definitely love it when definitely has to match, but I love it the most when you develop it before, you know, and then it's like boom, this is the song.
Do you feel like your emotional state or your mental state when you start dancing affects the connection with other people when you're dancing?
Yeah, I think so. What do you mean, like when you're bothered with? Did you shut off the iron or something?
It could be anything. You might not be in a great mindset. You might have, I don't know, you didn't enjoy dinner at the marathon. And like, oh, I'm in a bad mood now, or you've had a bad dance, bad connection, and then that affects your way of thinking. So you might not go into the next dance with the best mindset. Do you feel like that can affect the connection with the next person?
Yes, I think so. In general, I think it's my now current, thing to work on, like, you know, to just be now here in a dance, like, because I realize that, like, the best things in our life are very silent, you know, like, for example, lately recently I was just swimming there in the sea, and one of those mornings when I came just without phone, without like I was just by myself, and I jumped in the sea, and I felt this like when you're like swimming, you feel how water touches your palms, and you hear the sound, and you see the sky, like, and all these things are silent. Like there is no word, no speech here, no language, nothing. It's just the feeling, And I think in a dance, it's the best when you can, like, when you are in this state, when you just feel it, like you cannot, it all happens so fast because feelings have more information than the speech, right? And it all happens so fast, so your brain cannot even catch up, And I think this is the thing which we're like basically able to create by ourselves, by just shutting our damn mind off, and just enjoying the dance. But yeah, it's always like you of course get distracted, like somebody passed by, or you're thinking about, okay, the song is not the best, or like maybe even if it is the guy you love to dance with, but like the song is not the best, as you said, and you think like, okay, it might have been better, and like this just thinking I'm working on just shut it off, it's not easy. Can you do this when you dance?
There's lots of things that I want to talk with you about based off your answer now. The first thing is that you exactly described how it feels to surf. So for me, surfing is like it's a huge part of my life because of that. You have to be present when you're surfing, and you're not thinking about whatever's happening on the beach or in your life or at work or whatever. You're in the moment. You're in the water. You're paddling, you're sitting, you're watching, you're catching waves, like you're so in the moment when you are in the water. So you've experienced a similar thing from swimming, and you can get it from swimming, you can get it from surfing. Like I've heard it described as passive meditation, because when you're physically doing it, you're not thinking, I have to relax, I have to relax, I have to relax. You're relaxing, you're doing an activity, and dancing has the exact same effect if you allow it to. You can be thinking too much when you're dancing, and then you're not passively meditating, you're actively thinking. So when you step into activities or environments that force you to be present, dancing, yoga, surfing, whatever they might be, you reach like a point of peace in your mind because of the meditation that you're doing, whether you're of it or not. So I'm curious that you actively try and enter that state. I think that's really cool, because I think maybe a lot of people aren't aware. Like people say, why are you dancing so much? Why do you always go dancing? Why do you do this? And people say, I don't know, I love it. But like, I think if you look a little bit deeper, it's because you're giving your mind a break in some way. Yeah. When you're learning, it's hard because you're mentally straining. You have to remember this, you have to remember that. There's a lot of stimulation, the music, the timing, the dance partner, all these things. But when you feel comfortable dealing with all of the information, you can relax and then enjoy. And I think that's what becomes addictive for people, is that peace that we have in our minds. To your question, I think it happens all the time. Like you might not enjoy the music, or you might have something that's bothering you in your head, and then you think, okay, take a breath, relax, concentrate on dancing. So we can actively work on our intention before we start dancing with someone. I think it's important to do that. I could definitely do it more. Like sometimes you're not feeling the night and you're like, okay, I'm going to go home early. And then it happened to Dazzy in Prague a few weekends ago. She put her jumper on. She's like, I'm not feeling it. I don't know what it is. I'm not in a good mood. I'm going home. And it was like 2 a.m. It's like, what? There's like 4 hours to go. What's wrong? And then I don't know what it was. Like we danced together a few times. We might have had a really good time. Like, okay, I'm good now. And she took her jumper off and she got back. So
it can really, one dance can really change everything. I was having this conversation with Bo in Berlin, and because we were like, it was Sunday, we were like dead already, like, and I was like, couldn't feel anything. I was like totally dead. But we were dancing. It was like, like this, like we were dancing, and then you get energy back. It's like, wow. And it's like, again, we don't dance, and we're like this, like, and then again, we meet again. But we have to dance. We were dancing like again. Wow, we get energy. It's incredible how people can can create this energy, right? Like out of I don't know what. For me, it's a question. I don't know how does this energy happen, generates when two people are dancing. But sometimes you notice, right? Sometimes you have the dances which they generate energy, and after that you feel like, oh, I want to dance more. And some dances, they just drain you.
Yeah. So do you feel like that's because of an energetic connection you have with your dance partner?
I think it's kind of opening yourself thing. Because like when you have a conversation with a good friend, like you gain energy because you just open yourself. So you're like being who you are, and you meet this total acceptance and understanding and support. I think this is kind of what happens. Like when you can open yourself, like for me as a follower, for example, I can totally open myself when I know that I'm like, nobody will hurt me. I know that I will not be challenged out of the blue, like for nothing. And I know that person is like monitoring my state, I can open myself. And also when this musical game starts, like, okay, somebody showing you the music, you're like, okay, I hear what you say, like this kind of conversation. I think it's also nice. Also like reinforcing your energy. What do you think?
For example, you can have two really good dancers. You could say that they have great technique, they have great musicality, they're a good fit for you, like size-wise. Your frames work very nicely together, you've got a good height ratio, things like this. But for some reason, one of them feels so much better than the other one. Like it's so hard to put your finger on what it is because it's different for everyone. But I like that you use the word acceptance. I feel like that's not used enough. I think often when I'm talking about this stuff, I like to use the word understanding, because when you feel understood, but it's also really important, and I'm glad you brought it up, to accept the person as well. You can understand them, but not accept them, but it's even better if you understand one another and accept one another. I think that's really important. And maybe that's a deeper level of understanding that I haven't tapped into yet.
Me neither. I was there, like talking to my private life in general. When you're talking about the partner, this acceptance is important, right? But in dancing, yeah, will also be, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm only my mind's going like right now thinking about it. And if I've felt accepted, and if that's why I feel comfortable when I dance with certain people, because they're accepting me. And that could be acceptance for where I'm at level wise, for accepting me as a person. I'm not sure where that lives. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
For you as a follower, when do you feel like you're being accepted by the leader?
I have no idea. Yeah, to be honest, I think it only happens, this acceptance, I think, happens mostly in solo or in the moments when you improvise, right? When you like go to creative part. Because when it comes to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, it's like you cannot accept. I mean, it's like you do it or not, right? So I think when it comes to expressing your creative side, and there, I think I just feel the facial, like see the facial expression, like feel like when I allow myself to do something, like to fool around, like, or to show something, I can see the reaction where the person is like, like, or ignoring, or like, is like, wow, I see what are you doing, And of course, I think like when the person reacts positively on your movements, then you feel accepted because you feel like, oh, they like it or he likes it. And to be honest, I think what many people suffer from, right? Like when like you are intermediate dancer, for example, yeah, you go to solo and you're like scared like hell, and your partner doesn't give you this feeling like it's fine, you can just do anything. I like it, like I think it must be very bad feeling, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like I can think of examples when I've danced with someone and I haven't felt comfortable because they were like not anything to go off. So there are examples like that. What I wanted to ask was, if I agree primarily with what you said, that within 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, you're not putting anything out there different to then be accepted by the leader. If you're showing, so as a follower, would you say that when you're being more expressive, so if you play with timing whilst partner dancing, so you might play with how you transfer your weight or the timing of your step, and then if they allow you to do that and accept your variations, like do you feel like you have to put something forward in order to allow them to accept it or not? And then you know if you can take it further?
I think that when it comes to partner work, I'm really very accurate with like improvising, because I heard a lot of things about like guys saying like, oh, this girl is like crazy, she's doing her own stuff, it's like feeling like she's leading, you know, like I don't feel like a leader. And I mean, in general, I'm mostly like, I asked for feedback. I remember one guy, and he said like, I feel like you don't improvise at all. Like when we do partner work, you just follow, you know. Right. And I'm like, yes, I'm a follower, you know. I'm made for following, you know. But so I'm very accurate with feeling whether it is a good moment or good partner or in general good situation to do something. I could do this, but I do this very rarely. Like, okay, with this guy, I feel like I can switch the arms, for example. Yeah, it's a good moment, and I just do it, and I get this wow, and it's like, okay, enough, okay, no more. And like sometimes, in a very exceptional cases, when a guy really gives you how to say, he's like literally telling you, I want you to improvise as well. I want us both to create our dance. Like guys like Jared, for example, yeah? It's like you get this understanding very fast that you get so much space to do stuff. So you have to, you just, this is the way. But it happens very rarely. Apart of those moments, I think I prefer more to follow and just don't improvise at all.
You wanna feel accepted. Both parties want to feel accepted. Leaders want to feel accepted by the followers and vice versa. So should the leaders be giving more space to the followers to be more expressive when they dance?
I think it depends on, I think the leaders should be just a bit more sensitive. Many leaders should have been more sensitive, you know, because maybe the girl doesn't need it, you know, maybe she's fine. And maybe in this song, you know that, okay, she knows this song by heart, and you feel like, okay, I have to let her go, you know? I think it's just the way how you feel, like whether you, first of all, at all pay attention to the partner, you know, and to like want to know how does she feel, like want to engage you both in this magic. And secondly, just, yeah, I cannot say like advise guys to give more space to girls. No, because it all depends on the situation. You have to feel the situation.
How do guys get better at feeling a situation?
Yeah, sorry?
How do leaders get better at, how do they get better at feeling a situation?
You ask very good questions today. I think for sure, for feeling, you need to be still, you know, not still in meaning of standing still, but still in the meaning of like not having this urge to dance, not having this urge to do patterns or to dance, to move, to create. I don't know. It all just, I don't know. You get her in a close position, and you feel like, okay, I don't want to I want to do it half of the song like this, you know, and you both feel it, and it's fine, it's amazing. So when you allow yourself to listen to what's going on, not being affected by this need to dance, to do something, to move, I think this is the basic thing. And also, I mean, of course, we're not talking about the techniques, yeah, when you like, we're talking already about technically good dancers. So yes, I think the stillness is the clue. And what do you think?
I think to get better at something, you have to practice it, but it's not enough to just go and dance. Like just go and dance at a social and say, I'm practicing. You are practicing some things, but you're not practicing what you want to work on. So I would say that you have to actively practice what it is you want to work on. But if you want to get better at understanding and interpreting followers, you have to spend time doing that. So I was just... Yeah. It could also be more challenging if the music doesn't allow for that sort of a connection or that sort of a space. So for example, if you go social dancing in New York, it's like hard, fast mambo for 4 hours. So you don't really have time and space to do like a time step or connect in a close hold and chill, because the music's like ba ba ba. Like, so you don't have an opportunity to do that. Yeah, I think you have to. I think the music for me tells you or gives you opportunities to do that, whether it's at the beginning of a song, in the middle when there's a breakdown in the music, or at the end of a song when the music's coming down. So the music is important, but a salsa social won't be those sorts of songs for the whole social. There'll be hopefully like a mix where it's intense music and then that goes to more gentle music. Ideally you would have that, but I think to get better at something, you have to actively practice what it is you want to get better at. But for dance, you need the conditions to align. You need to have the right partner who's receptive to those things. So you have to be operating at a higher level of dance, basically. You can't do it with beginners because they're concentrating on the function of the steps. Marathons, I think marathons provide the perfect training ground, for lack of a better word, because at marathons you have really high level social dancers. You've got a good range of music in most cases, and you have people willing to experiment maybe outside of the line of where salsa starts and finishes.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, talking about sensitivity, remember what you wanted to ask. I just wanted to tell one story. In Berlin, I was really so thinking like I was, how to say, I don't know what's the word for it. I described the situation and you asked me what I felt. So there was a guy, he was in leading, like he was not definitely feeling what he does. Like geometrically, he would lead well, but sometimes he would screw up in timing so much. So he would lead me earlier than needed. The feeling was from my side so like brightly different. So when he was leading well, I was always super light because I didn't need to resist, you know. But when he was leading early, I would always have to need to resist because for example, I didn't transfer my weight. I cannot turn. I have to resist first, and I resist with weight. I don't resist with muscles, you know. And my resistance feels like a wall, like really, like you cannot lead me now. It's too early, you know. It's like not heavy, but it's very understandable, like early, you know. And then I go like, okay, and now I do it, you know. So from my perspective, it was so obvious. Like I was, my body is like, I didn't do it from my mind because it's automatized, you know. My body was saying like early, and now I turn, you know. Not now I turn. Not now I move. Or like when he was doing it well, I was light, and I was like, why can't you feel it? Like it's like so obvious, you know. Like the feeling, the difference is so dramatic, and he apparently he wasn't. So this is what we're talking, the sensitivity.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to try and communicate without verbal use, and it's nearly impossible to figure out exactly how someone's into something without the use of words, because we primarily communicate our entire lives with words. We say how something makes us feel, or ideally you communicate this way, and then to remove our most commonly used tool for communicating and then try and communicate without words, you have to really think outside the box. Like you have to really try different things. So yeah, it's interesting. I think leaders have the same thing, I would say. Like do you feel that as well when you're a leader? If you're dancing with someone and they're following, and is there something that you do to try and help them understand what you're trying to do or what you want them to do or what you're proposing?
Well, when when I lead, I mostly do it at the classes. Of course, I'm like accompanying much, like making it more vivid. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, for example, at the start of a song, I'm trying more to be more gentle or more still at the start of songs, to concentrate on the quality of the connection with the person before we start turn patterns. So you can tell straight away if when you connect with someone, if they're stepping out their basic step, but you haven't initiated that yet, you can tell if they're going through the motions or if they're trying to connect with you. And then you've got two options. You can keep trying to connect, you can keep trying to communicate what you're doing, or you can say, well, they're not understanding me, I'll do a basic step. So you've got two options there, but it depends on lots of things. It depends on the level of the people that are dancing, it depends on the music, it depends on a bunch of things. So yeah, you can have someone that's receptive to what you're proposing you do. Your options become way more open. So for example, if someone's like an on one dancer and they haven't done a lot of on two, but they can follow your steps or follow your timing, you can do anything. You can do song, you can do time steps, you can do like, but that's not because they've learned how to do those styles, they've learned how to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a really cool thing. Like learning to connect and learning to follow what's being led is different to learning a style and going through the motions of a style. but I'm not 100% sure how to teach that. I don't know. I think everyone's trying to teach that in their own way. I hope, like you're trying to teach people how to be good leaders and how to be good followers. But then you're only limited by what the imagination of the dancers can be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a very good question as well. How to teach that? Need to think about it.
Yeah.
I think now, of course, it's much about personality, like whether the girls are uh, from how to say naturally like good followers. They're used to that. They used to listen to men, or like they like it. They trust them, or something like this, or they don't trust them. For example, they don't want to do it correctly. It's now much about personality.
Okay, this is a curious thing to talk about. So, do you feel like the temperament of a person before they start dancing will help them be a better follower or a better leader?
I think so, especially after that raid. I think because there were some girls which were so stubborn, and I was like, damn, relax your damn arms, let me lead, and I think so.
So do you feel like people that are, I'm trying to be politically correct, why do you think some people are better at being followers? Because of their role in life outside of dance?
To be honest, again, like a couple of years ago, I would definitely say character doesn't have anything in common with leading and following. You can learn. I mean, definitely you can learn. Yeah. Even if you're like a very stubborn girl, you don't trust the guys, you think that guys are assholes, and you I don't know whatever, you are hurt, and you can still learn how to follow, and you can be a great follower. Yep. But if we like take the technique apart, I think yes. I think it really influences somehow, because if you're in general relaxed, if you learn to trust, to listen, you're definitely a better follower than when you don't listen, for example, or something like this.
This is such an interesting, I've never really thought of that.
Me neither.
Yeah, really, really curious. So from a leading perspective, you want leaders to be clear, you want leaders to be precise, you want leaders to be on time, but you also want leaders to accept and understand and be able to receive information as well as give information. So wherever these magical men come from, whatever country where they produce these men, they're going to have the best leaders because they're already doing all those things in their day-to-day lives, right?
Yeah.
But because these people aren't born, it's something that you learn to do. You learn to be considerate. You learn to be accepting. You learn to be understanding. These dancers can come from anywhere, but your mindset or your intention going into the dance matters a lot, because that's going to allow you to do those things with followers as opposed to going through the motions.
Sorry, I didn't get the last sentence. I was thinking about the temperament.
Amazing qualities. If you have all those amazing qualities we just spoke about, that's going to allow you to be a better leader because you've already got those things in your mindset. But you have to learn those things. You're not just born an understanding, accepting, like considerate person. Some people are, maybe. So
I think so.
Yeah. So then if you carry those things with you into dancing, stepping into the role of a leader or a follower becomes easier because you already have that mindset. But it's your intention before you start dancing with someone, if you want to be open to those things. It's your mindset going into it. Your intention for what you want out of the dance before you start dancing with someone.
Yes, what I'm even thinking is like probably these qualities which you're talking about, like being caring, like listening or something like this. How to explain, like good technique makes it transparent. It's like when you're a great technical high level dancer, you like these qualities, they just go through the technique and they just get into the dance, and then you can express yourself. But if the technique is not good, then it influences a lot everything.
It limits how much expression, because you're trying to figure out what's being followed because the technique doesn't match. Yes,
exactly. And that's again could be connected with the topic of energy, like gaining the energy. If two technically high level dancers, they're like transparent and they translate their personality, into the dance, then of course they get energy from this.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We're coming back to people being on like a similar level, and it's easy to understand one another. And when you can understand the mechanics of what you're proposing and what's being followed, it gives room for more expression. So because they're leading a crossbody lead a certain way, it gives you time and space to do more things because you know exactly what it is that they're doing, what they're leading.
Yes,
Such an
for sure.
interesting topic. I could talk about this all day.
Yeah, we're digging deep.
It's answering a lot of questions for me, but with the questions that are being answered, now I have more questions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because we just open up so many deep topics.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
I would really like to do it again with to have another conversation about these things. And so I think I'll probably go away and I'll think about some of the things we spoke about, and I hopefully have more formed questions and answers for you next time we have a conversation.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for your time, Svetlana. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your time in Turkey.
Thank you very much. It was a huge pleasure. I didn't expect, that was one of those conversations when you don't know where it will go. And apparently you just see yourself in a place where really, I never thought about this. It's so nice. And yeah, I'm very glad. Thank you very much for this time and opportunity.
Thank you everyone for joining.